Hey, everybody, I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to change the world one brave word at a time. And today we're celebrating one of our newest books, Stop Overworking and Start Overflowing, 25 Ways to Transform Your Life Using Human Design. So I have 4 of the amazing author experts here with me today to share their wisdom. But first, really, I want to say thank you to Kristi Sullivan, who is our lead author for this book. She had a big mission to bring together the practitioners and coaches and guides who've made human design a part of their lives and are now helping people transform theirs. So Kristi, thank you so much for bringing this badass author crew together for this book. Ladies, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. Sandra Lee is the owner of Miracle Inspirations, Inc., where she uses biofield tuning and human design to help you fulfill the purposes of your life and your business. Jeanette Gallardo is a finance expert and human design guide. She works on business finances with her clients and utilized human design to bring money blocks to the surface. Alana Heim guides individuals, couples, and entrepreneurs to navigate the energetic currents beneath their business, life, and money so they naturally flow in their river of infinite prosperity. I want to float on that river. I like that. Okay. Tonia Twigger is an educator, writer, and wellness advocate that inspires seekers to live their authentic lives using the wisdom of human design. So for all of you listening today, please remember, after one of these authors says something amazing that you're resonating with, all you have to do is drop down into the show notes because I have you hooked up with all of their websites. So let's get into this discussion. Sandra, tell me about the amazing chapter that you wrote.
Thank you, Laura. My chapter is 3, Turn Dreams into Successes, Human Design and Biofield Tuning for Your Business. I love helping you live your purpose. And when you are in alignment with your purpose, when your business is in alignment with your purpose, you attract your perfect customers. So using human design to help you understand your purpose and then biofield tuning with sound in the energy field to help you be in alignment with your purpose helps you be amazing in your business, giving what you offer and attracting customers. Thank you.
So I was at a conference this past week, and one of the gentlemen at this business conference was a sound healer, and he brought some show and tell, something that looked very much like what you just held up. Yes. And I loved it. We got into a conversation. I actually told him about you a little bit, and we were talking about this book. But can you tell me just a tiny bit more about what that tool you held up actually does in the body? I know people are going to want to know about this.
One thing I find immediately is that people release the stress and they come into their bodies and get calm. And then from the perspective of sound, sound is the foundational creative force. Thinking about the spiritual texts, you know, they say, first there was the word, and then there was light. So we think about manifesting, creating healing using light. Sound is actually below that. So when I'm doing biofield tuning, I'm working with both sound and light and intention for your healing. And I found it to be amazingly effective, particularly when done with human design.
If you guys see me looking down, it's because I'm writing things. So sound is the foundational creative force. That's a powerful quote. Like, think about that for a minute. Yeah, I've experienced just enough to be dangerous in terms of sound healing. It's a very, very profound modality. And yeah, Sandra, so one more just note about the combo, because that's an interesting combo, human design. And so tell me just a little bit about how you combine.
I do biofield tuning by creating a hologram that represents the person or the business that I'm working with. And I was working in the field one day and I started seeing the human design chart laid over it. And so I realized that I'm working with the same things, the centers and the chakra centers with the sound.
I love it. You're making me think of charts with all kinds of points. You're making me think of the craniosacral diaphragms. You're making me think of the acupuncture points. You're making, right? So what I love about these tools, right, listeners, we're going to share lots of interesting ways to use tools to really have an awesome life is what it gets down to. Thank you, Sandra. So Jeanette, you are up next. Tell me about this amazing chapter that you wrote.
Everyone, and thank you, Laura. So my chapter is chapter 19, and it's about financial freedom, how to become aware of your blocks and experience wealth. So in this chapter, I cover the different ways of how to identify your money blocks through human design, so that you can actually experience financial freedom.
So I know a thing or two about you also, which the listeners don't know yet. I don't know if I'll tell the whole story. But what I love about what you guys are saying is that you've taken this system and you've brought it over to your business and what you do, all this other toolkit that you had or have been growing, right? And you're combining it, which makes you an incredibly unique financial person, Jeanette. So tell me, like, how has that changed the way you work?
So it is really powerful because so what I do, anytime I offer anything to my clients, I walk the walk. So I have done all of this work myself. And in the chapter, I cover my story, my personal story with finances. I have been in finance for 20 years, and I thought I had it all together when it came to my finances. And then I realized that that wasn't the case. And through human design, I was able to uncover all those money blocks or all those beliefs. And so what I do now is I combine that. I work with my clients to bring all those blocks to the surface. And then we work on all the technicalities. Because if you think about it, the technicalities are pretty straightforward. Like it's very like you do A plus B equals C. But sometimes what is getting in our way is all those money blocks. And I have combined the two to really make a powerful and a way for my clients to experience financial freedom.
Awesome. I'm going to be one of Jeanette's testimonials, you guys, because this subject was very hard for me until she made it easy. So that's all I'm going to say about that now. Alana, tell me about your beautiful chapter.
I wrote the chapter number 15, Navigating Your Energetic Currents, A Path to Prosperity. So I love mountains, and ultimately I took you on a journey of going up a mountain and talking a lot about my own story through human design. Being a projector, I weave in components about my type, my emotional authority, using my willpower to go up the mountain on my own. And the thing about prosperity is we tend to think it's what we have, and it's really who we are. And so I weave through the journey all of these components of human design to really help you understand that you are prosperity and you are the one who's navigating the energetics, the currents that are beneath us, and our money, our finances, those types of things we usually get stuck on.
Prosperity is who we are. Yes. Okay, I need more about that. Like, if you needed to convince me, how would you convince me?
Well, as you mentioned in the bio, right? It's this river of prosperity. We're all in it. But when you don't really know who you are, it's hard to align that with what you want. So sometimes we're in resistance. We're constantly fighting ourselves. We're fighting the energies. You know, source, universe, God wants to bring you what you want. But if you're getting in your own way because you don't know how to ultimately flow with who you are, then that's where I really have been shifting, working with clients to help them understand these components so they're just naturally flowing. There's more ease, there's more grace. It can be more money, it can be more health, it can be more relational aspects that are more aligned with who you are. And I know that the world is shifting and it's time for us to really step into our beingness.
You know, there's something I want the listeners to understand, and I had to chuckle a little bit when you said sometimes we're in our resistance. Like for some of us, we've spent decades in resistance, right? But we weren't awake to the fact that that isn't the way it could be, that there was possibilities for this other kind of life and living in flow, which for me felt physically different. So my GPS system is the way that I'm feeling. And I want listeners to understand as you guys hear the authors talk about this, if you're recognizing your own resistance, if you're recognizing that most of your day feels not so good, I'm here to tell you, and all of us are here to tell you, there's something so much better, so much juicier and sexier over here, right? So thank you, Alana, for having me think a little bit about that. I love it. Tonya, tell me about your amazing chapter.
Mine is chapter 7. It is called I Choose Peace. I am a manifester, and choosing peace is always this just exactly what you're talking about. We have this conditioning that happens for us. That's why we have sounds. That's why we have people to remind us of our money, because we have conditioning that has caused us to make choices that are different than what our energy is. And so that's what my story is about. It's about my hair, because I finally let go of needing to control my hair. And that was one of my big conditioning things that I needed to let go of.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Your hair. So control though, right? Okay, don't get me started on this topic, but I think everyone is grasping for some kind of control, especially this last year and a half. And the truth is, we don't have control over much, but what else do you want to add about that?
I think what human design does above all is to give you permission to let go of that control that we've held so tightly on beliefs that we had that are probably not true.
Beliefs that you had that were probably not true. I want to pause on that one for a moment. So I'm going to play with you for a minute, Tonya. How do you know?
Good.
How do you know?
I am an emotional decision maker. I'm an emotional being, very emotional, with waves that are high and low. And early on in my life, with parents, elders that were part of that depression era, emotion had no place, right? You suck it up and you do it and you make it happen. So this little kid went underground with those emotions to the extent that I tried to burn myself out by not displaying them. So human design gave me permission to come back to those emotions that do so well for me, that help me make my decisions and help me go forward in life.
Go figure, emotions are a good thing.
Yeah, 50% of us for whom emotions are a big deal.
I love that. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask all of you this next question. Jeanette, I'm going to start with you for this one. It's really clear in this book that human design was a transformational tool for all of you, like in some cases, mind-blowing transformation. So Jeanette, tell me about one of the biggest ahas you had when you learned about your own human design.
Biggest aha moment for me was that my corporate career was not in alignment with who I am. So I left my 6-figure job to start my own business and to incorporate everything that I learned in corporate, all of the finances, all the technique, all of that, but also humanizing it so that it is digestible, it is not intimidating, it is a way of allowing yourself like to flow and just be in alignment with who you are and just letting things come to you and again like standing from a place of wealth, meaning where you are in alignment with who you're here to be. It's not about finding your purpose, it's all about finding yourself. And from there, it's just everything unfolds. So that was like the biggest one. I mean, there's so many stories, but that for sure was the biggest one.
Listen, not everyone will, even if they know they should quit their corporate job because of the fear. So just give us a minute on how you made that happen and didn't like panic.
Yeah,
Maybe you did panic a little. I mean, you know, you can feel fear and do it anyway, which is something that we do.
Yeah, so fear, I lived in fear. And as Tonya said, I'm also an emotional projector, and I have been hiding my emotions all my life. So I was living my life in numbness, and I'm still learning to feel the emotions. I'm still learning to understand what they mean to me, because I'm 42, so for 42 years, I have been not feeling anything, not allowing myself to feel anything. So it's a process where, like just identifying what it means and, like understanding that. But yeah, fear was the biggest thing for me. But the thing is, when I learned about human design, I felt so empowered. I felt so seen, and I felt so grounded that I just knew that I was going to step into the unknown and trust that everything was going to unfold because I was in alignment with myself. So I took the leap, and it hasn't disappointed. It has been, I'm not going to say it has been the easiest path, but it has been so fulfilling. I'm so happy with what I'm doing, and I'm just like, I wish I had done this earlier, but I do believe that everybody's path is the way it should be. Like everybody's journey is gonna happen and unfold at the perfect moment. So
yeah, no doubt. I love that. So Alana, I'm coming to you next, but I'm gonna just read the quote I just wrote down from Jeanette. I felt so empowered. I knew I could trust the unknown. Like, think about that one for a minute. Yeah, you're gonna get memed, Jeanette. Okay, Alana, tell us a little bit about that aha for you.
So I am a certified public accountant and a certified financial planner. And 5 years ago, I left it all because I am also a projector, and it wasn't aligning for me to crush myself in tax seasons and be the doer that I'm not. So I left it all behind, recognizing my gifts. I'm here to be a guide for others. And I was out of alignment. So once I found human design, it was that wake up call that said, hey, this is who I really am. And I have to say, 5 years into it, I am still finding gifts as I continue to unlock things within me. That I'm ultimately a healer. And just as Sandra was talking about, using light and now sound channeling, right? And so it's this totally different world of I should have been in a box, sitting at a desk, doing accounting. And here I am using myself as the canvas to leap off of and help others heal and ultimately understand that prosperity piece in their life.
I think the thing that turns me on the most about this is you're talking about a way to help people that is holistic. And typically we wouldn't be talking about holistic in terms of something like CPA work or bookkeeping work or whatever work, right? We just weren't connecting the two before this. So what else do you want to say about that? This is so powerful. Seriously, we could talk all day about this one thing.
I love this. And the reality is you are you because there are innate gifts that you were here to bring. And again, if we're locked away in a box, like the CPA world or the corporate world, you're not exploring who you really are. And as everything is shifting in the world, what we need is exactly what you're here to bring. All of the gifts, all of the light, all of the brilliance in things that you probably don't even know that you're able to express in the way of creativity. And so when you can just get out of your own way and allow for that to flow through you, prosperity just follows you. It just radiates, and you get to share that with the world.
It sounds magical, right, y'all? But it is. And it is, I think it's easier than people think. I think that they think it's hard. So that's the problem. And that's one of the blocks, is what you are thinking this journey is going to be like. But one of my favorite ever questions and writing prompts is, what if this could be easier? Ooh, right? Thank you, Alana. Tonia, tell me about your biggest aha with learning about your own human design.
I am a manifester with 2 motors, and I am not designed to live in this very churning world as a participating member. So back to what they're saying about being in the corporate churn, when you have the energy that I have, what you're looking for is peace. It's the unique thing about the manifester that nobody else goes for, but it's about peace. And when I realized I did not have to compete with the churning motors and the pace at which the world runs, I became a different person. And I think one of the things that everybody's saying here that is really helpful is that human design allows you to take baby steps. You can jump in anywhere you want. You can choose to move towards your energy, and every time you do, you get a reward, because it's either little things you're doing, or it's big things you're doing, or it's the accumulative. So you have things to work on that help you take the leap, right? She took the leap because she felt what it felt like to be different. And then that gives you the courage, and then you can go take another leap, either little or big.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm just listening. Anyone else getting the whiplash from the nods? For all of you too. What else do you want to say about, so I love when we can help people move through the fear that looks like a wall of fire, but in the end, when you sort of leap through, you realize it really wasn't as thick as you thought. And so you're talking about one of those unique things where moving through to peace gave you the flow. What is that shift? What do you want people to know about that?
That it's really easy to get sucked into what other people believe, or believe for you to be true, or that collectively as a society we believe. Years ago, we taught a course called Creating the Life You Want. And I ended up, when I took on human design, of sloughing off that course, because what that course taught was to isolate your vision and your mission and your values and go make a plan. Well, I'm here to tell you that not everybody's meant to do that. Very few people are meant to do that. And so when we follow that march, we're no longer, many of us, in line with what it feels like to really feel good. And I think that if you can identify that you are either frustrated, angry, or bitter, those are the 3 main ones that we worry about, then there's probably room for you to make a little change to make that easier for you.
Yeah, really good. I think it's the themes have come up in all of our interviews so far, and they are repeating themes. And one of the biggest ones has been when you can understand that you don't need to listen to everybody else's stuff. That's the shoulds and supposed tos. And you begin to listen to this thing that you guys hear us talking about, right? This inner thing, and understanding what's feeling good for you and who you were designed to be, essentially, with human design. Is what we're talking about. The freedom is palpable.
It is.
So I love hearing y'all talk about this. Sandra, tell me about your biggest aha.
It's expanding on what you just said. Human design helped me go from hating myself and who I am to having the possibility of loving myself and who I am. Because for my whole life, I've gotten angry all the time. And learning in human design that's actually okay changed everything. And what I love doing with human design is helping people realize that something about themselves in their life that they've resisted, that they've hated, that I was like, why does this happen? I hate this about myself. And to recognize that's actually part of my gift. It's part of my opportunity to be here for the world, the things that I have judged. And so it takes my biggest complaint and turns it into my biggest, best gift. And it's an amazing transformation.
You see me writing furiously, right? Okay. So something you hate about yourself just might be one of the biggest gifts you've ever received. I have to hear just a little bit more about that. So I've caught myself feeling very needy in a love relationship. And I have caught myself journaling about how much I hate that. I hate being needy. I hate feeling that way because it has a certain feeling inside of me, right? So just being vulnerable and letting you use that example, like how can you turn that around for someone when it's something they really despise about themselves?
Feel for you. So whatever it is, I describe it that there's like two sides to every aspect of the human design chart. There's a positive way of experiencing and a not so positive way of experiencing it. So if I am stuck in this challenging aspect, it's like, oh, I feel so needy. I wish I wasn't needy. Can you look for the other side of the coin? So it's like there's an aspect of that energy that's both about holding on and letting go. Holding on and letting go. Is this something that I am wise about that can provide perspective both for myself and for other people? This is also a boundary issue. What is here and what's not here? What's me and what's not me? And so to go inside and it's like, what is this indicating to me for me to look at? Where is there a growth point here for me? And how can this possibly be of service to other people to help them learn about this dynamic of give and take, hold on, let go?
I like that a lot. And I'm going to let you all know that my aha there was that I had to get over the limiting belief that asking for help was weak. So there was I know I already knew my own answer, but I kind of wanted to hear how you were going to bring it for the listeners to look at what that other side is. So like when you can wake up, this is all awareness. And this is the next question I'm going to ask all of you, because this happens to be like my favorite topic ever. So Alana, I'm going to start with you on this one. I look at all these tools as really powerful awareness tools. Anything that helps us understand ourselves and the world around us can give us those gifts. Sandra was talking about these things being huge gifts. So talk to me about your own personal journey with this practice. How do you want to share how you practice? I call it a discipline now. Practice is a little less intense of a word, but
I weaved this into the chapter as well. In human design, I'm a 1-3 profile, so I have to investigate everything, and then I have to experiment with it. And that part of who I am has to happen. So if you were to tell me, oh, check out this modality, or go recommend this to a client, I have to really get in it myself. And so that's huge for me. I have to honor my will center as well. I have to walk the talk. I have to do what I say I'm going to do and follow through. And so everything for me is part of this learning journey. I have to dive in deep. I have to go explore my own emotional energy. So there's a lot of us on this podcast that have emotional authority. That's not thinking, I'm feeling. And this was a split that I have in my chart that I also talk about in the chapter, where we can get in our head and think that we're making progress. But really, we have to be in the body. We have to be truly feeling the emotions or feeling the pain or feeling the fear, whatever it may be. And that's what helps us to heal and move through to the other side and awaken or find ourselves or whatever it may be.
When you say I have to, and I'm assuming that comes from this place of understanding your chart well enough to know that your type has to do that to feel good. So is it always pointing to feeling better inside of you?
Or at least having the clarity around what those feelings are showing me. Because again, there's just really the neutrality of the feeling. There's neither good nor bad, but it's just what is, and being able to accept that. And more as I've dove into my emotional energies, there is that need, that longing, that have to that comes forth, because I always find this door that just opens with the answer that I could never have seen had I shut off the emotions in the first place.
So I call these ninja moves, y'all, because our authors have made a lifelong practice of these things. And ninja moves are when you're getting to the point where you've practiced every day and you have awareness happening. And it's such a beautiful, if there was a good snowball, this is it, because you can't go back once you have this certain level of awareness, right? Yeah, it's impossible. I love it. I'm in love with this stuff. So Tonya, talk to me about awareness in terms of your personal practice and journey. Unmute, girl.
I think because of the manifestor energy. Ask me the question again now. Sorry,
So tell us about your own personal awareness practice and how that looks in your day-to-day.
Because mine is about slowing down. It's exactly what you're talking about. It's the awareness that my energy is very different, for instance, than my 3-motored husband, who's also a 1-3 and has to go investigate everything. I'm sitting having to philosophize about everything, and that's okay. I don't need to go dig it all out. And together we have some really great things to talk about because of it. I think for me, it's been coming into that presence that I learned in yoga, that I, try to do in meditate, all of the things that we've learned about good health and well-being comes to play in human design as well. So as the manifester, I am watching my energy versus everybody else in the world and beginning to really understand how different I am than the other parts of the world. So a lot of it is observation and being in that moment, not doing, but being.
Yes, this observation really, I think, is the key to the awareness practice. Observation can mean different things to different people. So the idea is to figure out what it means for you and create a practice with that. I love how you said that you and your dude come from these different places, but you got some good things to talk about when you know that about each other. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, either he could infuriate me because he looks at it so differently, asks me questions, which are difficult for a manifestor anyway, about how it's working. Once I could appreciate it, as a matter of fact, I don't know about the rest of my colleagues, but I started getting clients that had profiles that I needed to work on. So I got 3 1-3s in a row so that I could appreciate my husband. Right? Because he just is very different in looking at it. And I could make him wrong, or I could do what human design tells us to do, which is that we are all unconditional with each other and ourselves, and that we are warriors. We speak our truth coming from where we are coming from, not based on the conditioning or what other people think. So unconditional and warriors. I try to do that with myself.
Sounds like you could save marriages and the world with this stuff, you guys. I mean, this is big potato stuff, right? Yeah, I know. Sandra, tell me a little bit about your personal practice.
For me, human design has really helped me be aware that I am living my purpose and my gift 24/7, every minute, whether I like what's happening, I don't like what's happening. It's all me living my design and my gift.
Nice.
And shifting that perspective makes a really big difference. Because if I'm not happy with what's going on, I always have the ability to turn it over and find the other side of the coin that is more shiny, that is more desirable, that I enjoy more. And so it's like, I am always making things better. And, I talk about this in my chapter as well. It's like the gate of truth and integrity. I'm always trying to make things better. But there's also a side of it that's like, it also means that I'm seeing it's like, this is not right. So it's like, how can I shift from there's something wrong here to, oh, this is an opportunity for me to help things be better for myself and other people.
I love that. I wrote down, I'm living my purpose every minute, no matter what is happening. So again, we'll go back to that awareness, Sandra's awareness practice serves her every single moment of her life because she's paying attention to what's going on, understanding she can take responsibility for the response. So a lot of us are in reaction mode constantly with everything that's happening around us, but how powerful is that? Big time.
And it lasts forever. So it's like, I've been doing human design for 8 years now. And every once in a while, there's still another, whoa, huge awareness that comes. It's like, there's never an end to opportunities for learning and growth with it.
And how amazing. And so I talked about this in one other interview, in the martial arts, it's about being in a beginner's mind till you die. And so no matter what you've mastered, there's always going to be something there, right? And how fun that adventure is. I love it. So Jeanette, tell us a little bit about your personal practice.
For me, as a projector, it was really beneficial to understand that because I don't generate a lot of energy, and I also have a defined heart center, which means I have a strong willpower, and any goal that I set up to do, I'll go and crush it. So for me, it was questioning, is this worth my energy? Like, who do I need to prove? Why am I trying to prove myself or others? And also understanding when I'm giving my energy away, meaning if somebody is not asking me for my opinion, then I'm not gonna say anything. And before I was doing the opposite. I would go and tell everybody like advice. Nobody would listen to me because they weren't asking. I wasn't being invited. So I was just giving constantly my energy away, and I was exhausted. So now what I do every day is one of my goals is every day I ask myself, even questions from anybody is like, is this worth my energy, or can it just be a straight, no, I don't know the answer to that, or no, I cannot do it, or I'm not gonna engage in that argument or in that conversation because I'm gonna be depleted after. So for me, really conserving my energy is my daily practice.
I think this could be so transformational for some people listening right now, because I identify with that. If I have a goal, I'm going to crush it. And if you know this about yourself, then ask the question that Jeanette offered, is this worth my energy? Y'all are going to be saving fuel tanks worth of energy because you know this about yourself. Right. So it's really about the pause in the moment, then asking that powerful question so that you can just choose. And my one quote for life is, with awareness, you get a choice. Everybody wants choices. right? So that's why I love this awareness topic, you guys. It turns me on. I love listening to all of you talk about it and yourselves and the way that you're applying human design. And I wanted to say thank you, not just for saying yes to the project, but for stepping up and very vulnerably sharing your stories so that people could have that head nod and be like, oh, wow, me too. And now I have permission to explore this, right? Who am I? If we're asking that question of ourselves, the whole world can open up. And I think human design is such a beautiful, powerful way to dive into that question of who am I, right? So I appreciate you all sharing in a way that we really understand just how powerful it can be. So I have one last question for you all. It's going to have to be the speed dating version of this. Okay. So I'm going to challenge each of you to answer in one sentence. You're barely going to be able to, I know. Try your best. Okay. So Tonya, you're going to be up first for this one. Many people have had a really rough time these last couple of years, right? For some obvious reasons. And some of our listeners might still be feeling a bit stuck on their journey. What would you want to tell somebody in terms of something very simple, one thing that they can do today to ease that stuckness or that tightness they might be feeling? I'm going to unmute you, I think. There we go. Unmute, Tonya. Unmute yourself.
I'm trying.
There we go. Okay, good.
I'm not sure I have a great answer for your question. Pretty much, it's difficult, at least for me, it's difficult to make overgeneralizations, and I would want to look at a chart before I would have much to say. All of my channels are projector channels, and I would want to know from your perspective, where are you coming from before I would make that leap. So that's a cop-out maybe, but I don't know that I have a good answer.
It's okay. I think everybody can answer that way. I'm going to tell you guys, you've heard terms like the chart, you've heard channels, you've heard undefined, defined, you've heard lines, you've heard all kinds of things that you have no clue about today, right? And we, with this beautiful book, are going to introduce you to the language that you're going to need to understand to kind of blow your mind about maybe what that advice would be, because I know it's different for everybody. So, yeah, fair answer, Tonya. So, Sandra, how would you answer it today?
Get in your body and breathe and let the stress go.
Bing. I like that. I love the sound. Thank you, Sandra. So, Jeanette, how about you? What would you tell somebody?
If it feels hard, then you know that's not the way to go. Life is easy, and when you're in flow, everything just comes natural. So if it's hard, then you know you have your answer.
I love that too. Thank you. And Alana, close us out, girl.
Prosperity is within you. And even when it feels like it's a struggle, you're growing and stretching yourself into that unknown, and your path is your own. And prosperity, it's there for you. And the more that you stretch and grow and, feel the pain, you'll realize it's not really pain. It's just exactly what you needed at this time in your life.
Thank you. And to all of you, authors, experts, amazing human beings, thank you so much for what you're doing in the world and for being here today to share it with everybody. So listeners, you can come join the October 19th live stream book launch party, 10 a.m. on the Brave Healer Productions Facebook page. We're going to be celebrating this beautiful book, Stop Overworking and Start Overflowing. And all of our authors are going to be there to share their wisdom and celebrate this powerful book. And if you're listening to this recording after that date, well, that means you got to get over to Amazon because the book is ready for you. You can get your copy. And lastly, today, everybody, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So what if that thing you're still a little afraid to share is exactly what someone needs to hear to change or even save their life? It's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone. Thank you, ladies.
Hi, thank you.